Sidney Rhodes Show, Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Follow us at Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Sidney Rhodes Show, you're on the right road. Sidney Rhodes Show. Good evening. It is an honor that you're here joining us for the Sidney Rhodes Show. How you doing tonight? Hope you're doing all right. Oh, we're going to have a great time tonight. We're going to chop it up together, talk about what's on your mind, latest news, politics, whatever's on your mind, we could talk about it. Sidney Rhodes Show. Boy, a lot of things happened this last week, I tell you. It's not a good sign. Not a good sign. But we've got to try to talk about it. Got to try to understand it, get to a better place, better perspective. But we invite you to join our conversation, 917-725-4241. 917-725-4241. The little cat in Charleston, y'all, he's going to be trying to grandstand in a few more days here. Yeah, we got a couple things going on in Charleston, huh? Yeah, I'm talking about the little guy that killed 9 people at the Bible study in that church. I hope you didn't forget about that situation. No, we can't see. That's the thing. I'm not sure. When so many things coming at you. Life is moving so fast that sometimes we can forget or even misplace. There's so many tragedies and catastrophes going on. It's hard to keep track of all that stuff. Man, I don't blame you. It's like, man, it just keeps coming. You got your own thing going on in life. You got your family and, your job, and you got things going on in your own life. I understand. But these things, we're not on an island. We're not on an island. It might be in Charleston that day and in your town today. That's just how that works. So that's why we have to learn from these things. We have to, feel the pain and then strategize. Have to be prepared to put down the threat. Sidney Rhodes Show. And that's not an easy thing. The United States government and the governments around the world would not expend the massive amounts of research and resource that they do to prepare soldiers to defend, quote unquote, a certain cause or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever their philosophy may be. It's not easy to be ready. And then sometimes, you think you're ready, you're not really ready. So I don't try to be disrespectful of if somebody got the best of you in a certain situation, but shame on us if we don't learn from that and we're not prepared the next go round. You know better, you're supposed to do better. That's what Granddad said. Now, you know better, you're supposed to do better. So if you already see the writing on the wall that in this society in which we live, plenty of times, there's a copycat mentality where somebody sees somebody else do something and they say, oh, well, hey, I'm going to jump on that. Okay, and then boom, there they are in your spot, shooting the place up. Now, you got to know, if you're not ready for that, then you're going to be taken, you can easily be taken advantage of. Now, who wants to be in that spot? No. Furthermore, if we are conscientious, if we are leaders, then we have an obligation. We have an obligation to keep people safe. So here at the Sidney Rhodes Show, we are advocates for peace. We like to dialogue. We use the Socratic model, if you would, if you please. But doggone it, don't be running up to innocent people, helpless people, poor people, whatever the case is, thinking you can get your little shine on. You done read a few books and now you think this is a different time. Or maybe you even hip to the current time. Maybe you hip to it, maybe. But we got to stop making it so easy for you to just shoot our babies down. Shoot our elders down. I mean, that's that stuff, or shoot unarmed 50-year-old men who are running away from you 5 times in the back. All that foolishness. I mean, how y'all feel about that? I mean, how we gonna stop this stuff? This is out of control. It's out of control, and I agree that there's a mixture here of the climate. I agree, because on this program we have not declared Brother Donald J. Trump as a racist. We haven't done that. In fact, we've gone a step further, which is to say, hey, if you believe he's a racist, prove it. Send me the link. But we're not going to just label somebody as that without direct proof. So, we try to be fair on the Sidney Rhodes Show. We've also said on the Sidney Rhodes Show that everybody that voted for Trump is not a racist. We've said that on the Sidney Rhodes Show. And the counter is also true. Everyone who voted for Secretary Clinton is not non-racist. In other words, you may have racists that voted for both. So there's good and bad on both sides. So we try to be fair on the Sidney Rhodes Show. But I will admit that I think it's probably a sensible position to take to say that the climate, it's a sensible argument that if David Duke is in favor of a person's position, then it probably begs this, you probably could reasonably and sensibly say that position you might want to, double check it. I mean, I think that's reasonable. I think that's reasonable. I mean, if you trust someone and they are endorsing something, then you pretty much say, well, they're probably in the same vein. They're in the same mindset. Okay, so, if a company wants to sell you some toothpaste, they try to get a superstar, right, that you trust, so they're going to put this superstar up and they're going to try to help them and sell their toothpaste by paying them a few dollars to get in front of the TV cameras and do a commercial and say, hey, this is the best toothpaste in the world, or this is the best car in the world, or you should take a vacation here, or you should do this, or you should do that, or you should wear these clothes, or put this type of makeup on, so they get Beyonce and get, the makeup line, that's, so you take in one person that seems to have a following or, a certain demographic, and you say, well, I want to get that's my target audience or whatnot, or we want to expand to that group. You dig it? I mean, it's just the science of marketing. So you say, hey, well, let's get this person to advertise for our product. So that individual, if they have if they're not just all about the money, they typically don't want to just endorse a product that they think is bad, because that's going to mess up their brand in the long run, you would think, right? You understand what I'm saying? So, if a person is endorsing a product in general, there are exceptions, but in general, it's pretty sensible to say, well, maybe there's something about that product that, if I like that person, maybe I'll like the product too. If I like the person that's advocating for it, So, I although I'm not prepared to call Brother Trump, President-elect Donald J. Trump, a racist. I'm not prepared to do that without the facts. But I will say there's a certain climate in the country. And I will say that if David Duke and people like that are supportive of, or even these yahoos a few weeks back, with the hail, Trump and all that, them cats, I say that there's something to that, and it's something that we should definitely discuss, because the climate for things, if you're sowing seed into a climate for something, are you a co-conspirator? Are you a contributor? Or are you someone who's also in some way not part of the solution, but you're part of the problem? These are things that we love to talk about on the Sidney Rhodes Show, because we look to strategize for a better way, for a more perfect union. We invite you to join us. Hey, on our social media platforms, of course, Facebook, Sidney Rhodes Show. You can also follow us anytime, Twitter, at Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Brought to you by Increased Solution, LLC, developing yourself, your company, your organization. It's going to be a great night tonight. Hang tight. We're going to have to really talk about these things. And we got a lot of news going on with the campaigns. We still have the recount efforts, and we've got these. We're waiting on the Walter Scott situation, and boy, you got to check our programs on demand. You can go to iTunes or YouTube, The Sidney Rhodes Show, listen to our programs on demand. And I'm telling you, boy, the past couple of days we've been talking about the Keith Scott, the Walter Scott. It's just amazing. Now we got this one juror holdout, so it's really something. We've also posed a great question on social media, on our Facebook. Say, hey, well, what if you had an active shooter in your church? What would you do? What would you do? Look forward to hearing from you. 917-725-4241. Sidney Rhodes Show. It's going to be a great night. Hang in there. I do this, Sidney Rhodes show? Well, it's not about whether or not, we have all the answers. I think it's a collaborative effort. I think that there are a lot of brilliant people in the world, and this is a point, a critical point in history. And if we can circle the wagons round, if we can bring the people together to think about the concepts and look at things from a different angle, different perspective, look deeper, I mean, it's possible that we can help somebody. It's possible that we can create better structures, towards a more perfect union. You dig? I mean, so I really, I throw out a lot of questions, because I really want people to think. And, sometimes I just, I believe there's a utility to just allowing some things to be questioned, just that First Amendment right, just allow it to be questioned, and then if it's the truth, let it be the truth, I mean, if it stands, let it stand. If not, then we got work to do. You feel me? I think we owe it to ourselves. We owe it to our future. We owe it to our children to get to the truth and then stand on that. That's the Sidney Rhodes show, So I invite people from all different perspectives, with respect. We put it to the test. That's what we do, Sidney Rhodes show. And that's why we do what we do, Gotta love it. Sidney Rhodes show. Sidney Rhodes Show. Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Follow us at Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Sidney Rhodes Show. You're on the right road. Sidney Rhodes Show. We're back. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are talking about this is a major, major issue. We appreciate you joining us on the Sidney Rhodes Show. But, this is Saturday night, and, what? A lot of people are going to be in places of worship tomorrow. Now, you can expand this conversation to, what about when your children are at school? What about when you're at the movie theater? I mean, all of these things have been environments where we've seen an active shooter. So you can definitely expand the concept. We started with just the simple question of because of what's going on in Charleston. When I say simple, it's still a complex, simple question. Because what are you going to do if you are a place of faith, a place of worship, and you are open to the public? You don't have security checks. You want people to feel welcome, and I understand that. A place of worship is not supposed to be a situation where you would think it's a highly engaged, potentially engaging situation. I mean, you just, but maybe you should think that. I think that's what the purpose of the Sidney Rhodes Show is, to say, hey, look at it from a different angle. Maybe that is. If you claim that you at war, spiritually and otherwise, if you believe that there are things that can get into people's mind and have them do some tripped out things, then where's your preparation for that? And maybe there are people out there who just believe, God's going to protect us. Well, God gave you sense too. I welcome, with respect, I welcome that conversation. I just may not agree with you, but I will give you space on this program to voice that. Because I see clearly, you look at the Bible, especially the Old Testament, and you got warriors. You got God declaring, according to Scripture, go in there and kill these folks. Now, I know you don't want to read that part of the Bible, 'cause that don't make you smile. That don't make you feel good. That don't, okay, well, hey, if you want to be blind, then be blind. But then don't come back and throw another scripture at me or this or that. You got to take it for what it is, right? If you're going to stand on the book, stand on the book. But, you don't even have to stop there. Just logically speaking. You lock your door at night, I hope. You take precaution. Lock your car, put your car alarm on. You take precaution. You put your money in a bank. You hope it's safe in the bank. You hope. You don't know if it's going to get hacked or whatever, but you hoping. I mean, if you got something that you protect, that you care about, you protect. I was jumping to my point. If you got something that you care about, that you love, you look to protect it. Your child. You love your child. That's why you concerned the first time your child gonna go away and stay the night somewhere else. Even though you like so and so and you cool with so and so, you still thinking, that's my child though, gonna be in somebody else's house tonight. You don't just let anybody babysit your child. Come on now, holla if you hear me. If you care, you take precaution, because things can happen, right? Okay, it's the same thing. I mean, so why should you block off your intellect about how things can go in this world? Why should you stop thinking? Why should we all of a sudden just become ignorant to protecting ourselves when we know there are people like the little dude in Charleston that are plotting and planning murder? I mean, at some point, you're just not being responsible. Maybe, and this is, Sidney Rhodes Show, maybe there should be a clearly laid out plan of action for an active shooter situation in your church. I would rather you have the discomfort of admitting that you need such a thing. I'd rather you have the discomfort of acknowledging that you're not prepared. I mean, hey, humble yourself, acknowledge, hey, we ain't ready. I'd rather you go through that discomfort of a transition into preparation than to just be a sitting duck. Where a cat like little dude in Charleston, Mr. I Want to Be Johnny Cochran now, where his little butt can scope you out, see your weakness, and then shoot grandmas and mothers and fathers. Come on now. You know, here's something I want to lay on you. I want to lay this on you. So 9 people died, right? 9 people were murdered by this little cat. You do realize, though, there were 12 people in that Bible study in Charleston, right? At that church, that AME church, there were 12 people. There was a mother. I mean, you know, just that should just make you upset right there. That should, you know. You know, you can go on YouTube, and you can you can search in YouTube for interviews of the survivors, right? And you can see, it just, you know, it's upsetting. It's really upsetting. It's really upsetting. You have a mother who's given an interview, who's now raising her granddaughter, who was also there. And she describes holding her granddaughter so tight so she wouldn't make a sound. Meanwhile, her son had been shot several times and is dying in front of her eyes. She's holding her granddaughter, watching her son and fellow members of the church being murdered. Get with that. How are we going to prevent things like that from happening? The other survivor, you can hear her being interviewed. So you got 3 survivors, 2 women and that granddaughter. So the other survivor, you can hear her tell the story that when this little dude come running around, she thought this was the end. She'd been watching everybody getting shot, getting murdered, and she thought this was her time. And the little dude says, you know, to her, this is what she says. You can go look at the interview. She says that he said, "What are you worried about? Shut up. Did I shoot you yet?" She said, "No." "Yeah, well, I'm not gonna, because somebody to tell the story." See, his little punk butt needed to be laid out quick, fast, in a hurry. That's what I'm getting at. So the concern here is not one of violence. It's one of self-defense. It's one of being prepared, because that's not an isolated incident. And with the climate that's going on in society, wouldn't you agree? So you can't have it both ways. If you think that this is not the president that you wanted, and you're angry about that, and you're fearful about that, well, then what precautions are you taking? You're seeing what's happening with all the markings on the churches and the different chants and the this and the that. Okay, well, if you were so worried that the world was just going to go in a whole different direction if this man was elected, and you were crying about that, then I ask you, so what preparations have you made? And see, this is what I'm saying. I don't get it. I don't get it. If you were so worried, then where's the preparation? Oh, I get it. When people start shooting and murdering people in your church, or it happens to your son or daughter, then you're going to be all upset. Then we got a problem. But until then, you got other things to do. Oh, I get it. Sidney Rhodes Show. So yeah, I just it's just a part of speaking out for those that don't have a voice. We have an obligation, to help cats. It just can't be about us all the time. There's people that need help, and this is what we do. We got to reach back. We got to help out. Sidney Rhodes Show. That's what we all about. The Sidney Rhodes Show, Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Follow us at Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. The Sidney Rhodes Show, you're on the right road. The Sidney Rhodes Show. It's Sidney Rhodes Show, and I'm so honored that you're here with us tonight. You get kind of conflicted, you get conflicted, right? Because you think, well, should we have people walking around in our church with guns and stuff like that, and is it gonna make people feel uncomfortable? We gonna have to have a meeting with the leaders, and we have to put up these precautions. We don't want people to feel a certain kind of way. it reminds me of, a situation where you have to just weigh, if Charleston were to happen in our Bible study, when we reflect upon the senseless murders, when we reflect upon the horrific incident and how that would rip apart our families, how it would rip apart the community, if you were able to look back and you weighed it, would you say that little meeting wouldn't have, that'd have been such an easy thing compared to what we're going through now? I just say, kind of put yourself in that spot and say, yeah, it might be tough to get people together. Yeah, it might be tough to give people a different view and have maybe the pastor comes in this way now or leaves that way, or we have this type of surveillance and we have these certain people stationed in certain places. It may take a little bit of configuration, but isn't that easier than burying these folks? And doggone it, look at how crazy this stuff is. It don't just hit you and leave, right? It don't just hit you and leave. I mean, this little cat in Charleston, his butt, that was in 2015. We on the heels of 2017, y'all. So, and you just now going to trial. So it ain't even like, okay, well, if somebody does this and then let the system work and, we're going to get to justice real fast and we'll be able to just move on and turn the page and, joy comes in the morning. Man, you might be sitting there for a year or two before you even get a chance to let justice even start to kick in. That's pain. Versus a couple of meetings on a Saturday morning with some coffee and some biscuits. And start to get some training. I mean, you can kick your feet up. Shoot, y'all can have the big screen down in the basement of the church. Y'all can do it in the afternoon, watch the game. I mean, just kick it and start to get to questions as, hey, what if we have this? What should we start doing? Who do we need to call from law enforcement? Who do we call from has some military background? Who can we get in here to just come and give us some training and start to lead this initiative for us? I mean, you can do it when it's easy. Before it comes down, before the real deal happens. It's called preparation. Weren't you ever a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout? Gotta be prepared. Shucks. Just trying to tell you. I mean, this is before it's too late. And I'm really concerned about this copycat stuff, y'all. I'm really concerned about when this little dude trying to be Johnny Cochran gonna be on the news. Next couple of days, they're going to narrow down the jury now. They're going to get the pool. They already have 60 some odd people. Now they're going to narrow it down in a couple of weeks. Look at the reports. This is all about to come down. All about to come down. They might start testimony on Wednesday of next week. So in a couple of days, this little dude, see, he got inspired by propaganda, etc. If you look at the little pictures and stuff, he's got patches on his uniform that they report from the apartheid regime in South Africa. He's got some other little patches on him, and you gotta study this stuff. This dude, listen how he was talking about the history of Charleston, the history of the city, and the racial dynamics. I mean, people, they have his social media, his little protests, little rants and stuff. You already have some of the pre-thought that this was a plot. This wasn't no spontaneous, he just walked. No, heck no. So there are little cats out there watching stuff like this, learning from stuff like this, getting inspired to do things like this. So now this little cat, he's going to be the inspiration for somebody. So Charleston might be safe because, now you want to pick a different place because he already did that. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know how you can be in Detroit or LA or Houston or, I don't know how you can be in St. Louis. I don't know how you can be in Miami. I mean, one of the major cities, right? I don't see it. Let alone the small towns. Where ain't nobody gonna get there fast enough. You know, I say, well, if my children, this is a little hypothetical, y'all, if you understand. If my children said, Daddy, am I safe at church? I would have to just give them the standard line that we were taught. I would have to not think. I'd have to just give them the standard lines of comfort. Basically, let them know Santa Claus is still coming. Because if I dare to think about it, how can I answer them and let them know nothing to worry about? How wait a minute. It's a crazy world. Gotta have plans for these cats and fill they butt up with lead when they trying to kill your people at your Bible study while you in prayer meeting. I go back to the mother that survived in Charleston, go back to her interview, and she says that the dude waited, this little cat, waited until the end of the Bible study when they were in their dismissal prayer. Now, some of y'all, I know you don't go to church every doggone week. I understand. But you done been there once before, twice. You done been there before in your life. And you dismissing prayer or a song or something like that. This little cat wait to the end, according to her, wait to the end of the Bible study. So he done heard a good lesson. Meaning he know he about to kill everybody, right? Or almost everybody. 12 people killed 9. He waits to the end, y'all. Waits to the end. And according to her, waited until they started praying with their eyes closed. With their eyes closed. And she said once they closed their eyes for prayer, shots rang out. What you gonna tell your children about being safe in church during prayer? Sidney Rhodes Show. Sidney Rhodes Show. Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Follow us at Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Sidney Rhodes Show. You're on the right road. Sidney Rhodes Show. We're back on the Sidney Rhodes Show. It's a pleasure that we're just honored that you're here with us. And I got to tell you, we have a special guest just called in. And boy, I mean, this is a great honor for us, Mr. and Dr. in fact, Jason McGhee. How you doing, sir?
Hey, good evening, Brother Rhodes, man. It's good to be here. It's an honor to be here. Appreciate you.
We appreciate you. I just have to tell the world because, our programs, not only do they go out live, but we put them all on iTunes, on demand. We put them on YouTube, on demand. And so, we create a legacy here where people for generations, hopefully, will be able to learn from this and grow from this and be a positive instrument for the community and for the world through the work we do tonight. And I want to let them know that Dr. Jason McGhee, that this is the real deal. This is the future of education. This man cares. He's in the trenches as principal. He works the work, does the job. He's making it happen. He's making it happen. And his energy and being positive. I mean, you are just such a great role model. So when we were talking tonight about the active shooters and churches protecting themselves and being prepared, and I know it just hit a chord with you with having young children and being a principal yourself of an elementary school, young kids, and thinking about the risk of having an active shooter. Brother McGhee, you got to tell us, Dr. Jason, how did that impact you, sir?
Man, listen, in so many ways. As a principal, you do different drills in the schools. You are the protector of that school first. The first thing is you want to make sure that every kid is safe. We have parents that send their kids to your school, and at the end of the day, they want their kid to come home. And then we have these drills, right? We have these code red drills. And when that code red happens, a lot of times as principal in my school, I don't know when it happens. I don't know if it's a drill or not. Whenever I hear the code red, I know it's go time. The thing is, Brother Rhodes, is when that code red happens, I am one of the people who have to walk around that building. I don't know where the threat is. I don't know where the danger is located, but I'm walking around that building, making sure those classroom doors are locked, kids are put away, kids are out of sight, and I'm walking around that building, not knowing where the threat is. So my kids go to my school, and they know about the code red drill. So when we're driving home, they say, "Daddy, when the code red is happening, are you
Dr.
hiding?"
Dr. McGhee, I gotta back you up, please, sir. Okay, and
okay,
I want the audience to really feel that not only is this man the principal of the school, but his own children attend the same school. I mean, that's just incredible. So when this is happening, he's feeling not just the pain for our community's children, he's feeling it for his own children that are also in the building.
Yep. Yes, sir. And that's a different and a brand new type of feeling that I've never, ever experienced before until recently, And so they're asking me, Daddy, doing the code red drill, are you hiding too? And I told my son, no, I'm not hiding, son. I'm walking around making sure that you and your friends are safe. But what happens, Daddy, if something happens to you? And the only way I can respond is I have to make sure that you guys are protected. And when that siren goes off, that's a scary feeling every single time, drill or no drill. So I hear you talking about if you're in service and you're in the basement and everybody, you want to be able to protect just in case. So this is a situation, this is a conversation that's really hitting home with me as an educational leader, as an educator, as a person who's in the trenches every day, all day, wanting to protect the kids. So there are days when can I really focus on learning when I'm focused on keeping these kids safe? So it's hitting home, man. I just want to say it's hitting home as an educator, as a leader in a public school setting. So I can imagine it's the same, in a church setting or any type of institution where there are young people there are people who are there and they feel like they're safe coming in and they want to feel safe coming out and making it home. It's a tough thing, brother. It's a tough thing.
Dr. McGhee, let me ask you this, and I hear your beautiful children in the background. That's just great. That's just great. Let me, and we want them to stay safe. And wow, man, it's really touching home. Let me say this, Doc. I gotta ask you this, bro. Not specifically your district or your school, because I definitely don't want. I mean, our conversation is much broader than any particular school or any particular district. So we're not trying to be disrespectful at all. We talking about it from a broad perspective, okay? But do you think that people are as in tune with the risk factor, or do you think people are too busy doing whatever else they're doing until it actually happens in their own building or to their own children?
You know, at the baseline level, I think that there's that precautionary measure where you practice, but you know, no, I think that we are very much in a reactive society. You know, when things happen like this on this level, you know, you don't see you don't see the movement, the response, the massive action, if you will, until it happens, and then you see that massive action taking place. Then you start seeing precautionary measures put in place. And I'll say the same. I'm not, you know, perfect in this regard myself. There are certain loose screws, you know, you have to really keep in mind, but that's the game that you play in your head all the time. But I say as a society, I think that, yeah, we are very reactionary, you know, we are very, very reactionary, but that works in a couple ways, Brother Rhodes. It works in a couple ways, man, because you want to be hopeful that things go well, that things go the way that they are supposed to go. And for the most part, if we look at it, there are a lot of schools in the state of Michigan, in the United States. There are a lot of schools. There are a lot of school districts. There are a lot of school buildings. And for the most part, things like this don't happen. So it's easy to look at things as from a business as usual perspective. You know, but we're starting to see a rise. I mean, like you were talking about earlier, there are people who get inspired by events like this, and now we're seeing them more and more often. See, the thing is, man, we have access to so much more information now than we have in the past. When we were in school, it was a little different, or it's a lot different now. And people have so much access to information. Right now, we are watching live executions on the internet. If you look at it, live executions. There are brothers that have been shot by the police, and we are watching them die sitting in their cars. And then there's a numbness that comes when you see this over and over again. There's a numbness that comes when you hear these stories over and over again about people just dying, and the value of life is minimized significantly. You know, so that's why I think it's happening, man. And so you're going to see the increase of the idea of protection and the reactionary aspect to schools and churches and other institutions when it comes to protection. You know, but I don't know. I don't even know if we're at that level where it's as serious as it should be yet. You know, I think there's going to be something down the line where, yep, you're going to see more of the conversation about having protection in schools with either administrators, teachers, and leaders in those buildings. I think that conversation is going to grow because that access to information and the way people are receiving things. Yeah, we're in the midst of a change, man. A real change here, man.
How have you seen, Dr. McGhee? How have you seen the anxiety factor? And I'm not, you know, we have people that listen to this program that some voted for Donald Trump, some voted for Secretary Clinton, some voted for whoever, you know, didn't vote, whatever the case is. All right, you've got people in all types of okay. But one thing we have seen is that there's been a lot of reports on the rise in anxiety and abuse in one way or another, verbal or physical, or threats and whatnot, from children since the November 8th election. What are your thoughts on that?
That's real. It's real, and I didn't expect it. I came into school on that Wednesday morning, and when you have second and third graders crying tears, And I'm not talking about one or two kids. I'm talking about, you know, we're talking about 20, 30 kids. We're talking about a classroom full of kids crying, feeling like that they don't know what to do. They're feeling like, wow, there's a court, and this is a phrase that I heard. Why do we have a bully that's going to be in charge of our country? And kids are crying, and we have to have a meeting, a school-wide meeting, to say, hey, we're going to be okay, guys. Things are going to be okay. We have to figure out how we're going to respond to it. Let's use the situation to make things better. And that's a hard conversation to have. I can understand that conversation at the high school level and maybe even the middle school level. We're talking elementary. We're talking kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. We're talking young people who are aware, who have access to all this information that I spoke about earlier. They're seeing it, and the anxiety level is high. The emotions are high. The confusion is high. Man, it's at a point where I'm really trying to wrap my head around it and try to figure out the best way to have that conversation with that young person. So it's very real. It's very authentic, and we have to come up with some real quick solutions to not only help that anxiety subside, but with some solutions that's going to help them move forward and cope better, and then put some things in place so they can actually move forward with some action steps, some real life action steps on how to deal with how they feel and translate that into some energy that's going to allow them to do better and maintain through this process.
Dr. McGhee, I'm so honored at your thoughts here, and we appreciate your perspective. I want to dig a little bit on something you just said, and do you find racially, when you see this anxiety, do you see a mixture? And again, not necessarily in your building, but just in the profession, as an educator in America, do you see or have heard that it's all races that are feeling a certain way, or is it certain races, or is it people that are more of Latino feeling that the immigrant situation? I mean, what are you seeing as far as the ratio, ratio, of people who are feeling this kind of way? And then when you talk about who's doing the bullying, I mean, is it like the media is portraying? Is it just as quote unquote black and white as it appears, or is it some type of mixture that you're seeing?
Man, you know what? Great question, Brother Rhodes. Great question. I think I'm seeing it. This is how I'm seeing it. One, you have a very surface level of response where you get it across the board. You have the fear, the anxiety, the uncertain, right? For my Latino, Hispanic community, silence. For my black community, anger. And then if you look at my white community, you see the tears, you see the crying, and I guess because I'm dealing with elementary kids, and in my school and my demographic that I serve, I haven't seen much of the other side, where there's tremendous support, good riddance to the current president administration. A good riddance and welcome this new regime, and I'm excited about. I'm not seeing that in my school, but I've seen silence from my Latino community. I'm seeing anger in my black community, and I'm seeing this level of serious, deep emotion from my white community. And like I said, man, I think it's across the board as far as how it's being portrayed in the media. I think those commercials that they show the kids watching TV and they're playing some of the sound bites from Trump, and the kids are looking at it and with like, what's going on? That's kind of what my school looks like when it comes to the whole presidential election and where we're going politically right now. It's a direct reflection of that commercial, and it's that level of silence, those tears, and there's that feeling that I don't know what else I can do as a kid in school but to be nervous, scared, and concerned.
That nervous, scared, and concerned, that, Dr. McGhee, do you see, if we don't get in front of it, and this may just be an overly basic question, but I just want people to hear it directly. If we don't get in front of it, do you see that turning into violence in one way or another?
Absolutely. I do. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, because in school, we deal with it every day. We deal with this idea of bullying every day, right? On the as a worst case scenario, you see bullying, you see fighting. You're going to see that, right? And so, yes, if we don't get in front of it, it's going to happen because you have those kids who, at some point, they're going to hit a wall. At some point, they can't continue to back up and cower into a corner and stay there. They're going to move. They're going to lash out. They're going to lash out, and we see it all the time. We see it all the time. So yes, we have to step out in front of this and do something about it. One of the things that I've done is I'm starting to educate students on this very factor. All right, so you have three different things. You have a person may be rude, they may be mean, and then you may have bullying. Everything is not bullying. Like, we have to explain this to the kid. We have to teach this to the kids. If there's bullying, there's being mean, and that's rude. And so that's one level that I use to kind of bring about some education around some of the situations that are happening in schools, happening on TV, or even in their communities. You know, so if we don't step in front of it, it's going to turn violent real quick because sometimes they try to get their voices heard. They may tell, and we as teachers and administrators and school staff members and officials, we might feel like, okay, hey, it's not that big of a deal, and these things happen over and over again, and then they get silent, and they get quiet, and they don't tell, and then that just builds up, and then before you know it, students are lashing out. Now, again, we're talking elementary school and maybe fighting, but as today's society, with the numbness that's happening every single day, more and more every day, numbness that's happening from the domestic violence that they see in their homes, the violence that they see out in the streets. Now, violence is not something to shy away from anymore. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't mean anything anymore. So if I do it, then I'm okay. I'm more normalized now in my feelings and in my actions because everybody's doing it and nobody cares. So I'm going to do it too. That's what I'm afraid of. That's what I'm afraid of.
We all should be afraid, Dr. McGhee. We really all should be afraid. Not just in your own building, sir, but, you know, overall, do you find that the educators, the staff, I mean, down to the cafeteria assistants and, you know, the custodians, I mean, do you find that the adults in the building are prepared for what's happening or ill prepared?
Man, I think we're ill prepared. I think we're ill prepared because at the end of the day, we go through this educational system, and I don't care where you are in this educational system. If you're a staff member, if you're a custodian, if you're a lunch worker, volunteer, teacher, professional, you know, in the building, when we talk about learning, that's one thing, but applying that learning is a totally different ball game, and that's where we are in 2016 when it comes to teaching and learning. We have to focus now more on applying what it is that we're learning. Teachers and staff members, we go to professional development, right? Professional development. It's time for you to develop as a professional and get all this great information. And it's like, okay, they release you, you sign off on your paperwork, and then you go back into your building or your place of work, and typically it's business as usual. There's no checks and balances on how you apply that learning. So that happens in school with kids a lot of times. And so if we are putting the information out there, giving the opportunity to learn, to be able to address some of these issues that we're starting to see, how are we applying that learning? I'm seeing it in my educational field. I'm seeing it in the schools where we're not applying that learning. And that's what we have to do, apply what it is that we're learning so we can better address. So to answer your question, I think we are at this point right now ill-equipped. There are some things in place. We are getting better. I got to say this. We are getting better. but we have to do a little bit more. We have to do a little bit more. We have to look at this level of accountability in a very different way, but in a lot of ways in the same way. We have to hold people accountable for what it is that they're learning and how they're applying that. And unfortunately, we have to find a way to measure it, because when you measure it, then people start to say, okay, now that's when the accountability, you put the accountability in place, when you can measure it for people.
Dr. McGhee, I want to know if we take a quick break, if you can hold on. Is that okay?
Yeah, I can hold on.
All right. Before we go, I want everybody to know that we're gonna have a quick break, but then we're gonna get back with Dr. McGhee, because I want to go deep with him. He's got an amazing story, and I want him to share some of how he got from where he was to where he is, and some of the challenges, because maybe you have a young person in your life, or maybe you are that person, you're listening, and you can be inspired by the Dr. Jason McGhee story. And I want him to be able to give you some nuggets when we come back from the break. In fact, I know that Dr. McGhee is available to do speaking engagements, etc. So this is a great opportunity for you to connect with him. In fact, on Facebook, they can connect with you. How on Facebook, Dr. McGhee?
On Facebook, you can reach me at the letter J space McGhee, and that's McGhee. So J space McGhee on Facebook, and on Twitter, I'm at J_McGhee, McGhee. So you can catch me in those two outlets.
And we're going to make sure that we give a chance to have you repeat those again when we come back from the break. I'll also make sure that I have his information, his link on my Facebook page. So if you miss it at any time, it'll be on the page. And if you are wanting to speak with Dr. McGhee, you can reach us live, 917-725-4241. We take a quick break, but hey, we're going to get deep into some things about his own bio, his own voyage through these challenges, because right now we're facing a challenging situation in this country, and we get to speak to a person that went from a certain place that we're going to describe all the way to becoming Dr. Jason McGhee, and now he's giving back and he's educating our children in this very challenging environment. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more from Dr. Jason McGhee on the Sidney Rhodes Show. why do this? Sidney Rhodes show. Well, it's not about whether or not we have all the answers. I think it's a collaborative effort. I think that there are a lot of brilliant people in the world, and this is a point, a critical point in history. And if we can circle the wagons round, if we can bring the people together to think about the concepts and look at things from a different angle, different perspective, look deeper, I mean, it's possible that we can help somebody. It's possible that we can create better structures, towards a more perfect union. You dig? I mean, so I really, I throw out a lot of questions, because I really want people to think. And, sometimes I just, I believe there's a utility to just allowing some things to be questioned, just that First Amendment right, just allow it to be questioned, and then if it's the truth, let it be the truth, I mean, if it stands, let it stand. If not, then we got work to do. You feel me? I think we owe it to ourselves. We owe it to our future. We owe it to our children to get to the truth and then stand on that. That's the Sidney Rhodes show, So I invite people from all different perspectives, with respect. We put it up. We put it to the test. That's what we do. Sidney Rhodes show. And that's why we do what we do, Gotta love it. Sidney Rhodes show. The Sidney Rhodes show. Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Follow us at Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. The Sidney Rhodes show. You're on the right road. Sidney Rhodes show. Sidney Rhodes Show. Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Follow us at Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Sidney Rhodes Show. You're on the right road. Sidney Rhodes Show. We're back, and we are so honored that you are joining us tonight on the Sidney Rhodes Show. It's such a special night. You know, with all of the challenges that are going on in the world, wow, you know, it's just great to have people, and we know there are people out there that are in the trenches, and they're trying to make it happen, trying to make a better life for our children, for our future. And tonight we are so honored to have just one of those individuals, and I mean a shining star. Dr. Jason McGhee is in the house tonight. He was involved in our first segment and has stayed around for the break. And, you know, I really believe that people all over the world need to hear his story. They need to know that you can make it through these challenges. It's a story of pain and also triumph. It's a story of going through the valleys of life, but also being victorious. And so we are just honored to have Dr. Jason McGhee in the house. And before we go any further, let's make sure that people can connect with you, Dr. Jason McGhee. If you'd please give us your social media platform so right off the bat they can get it down and they can know how to get in touch with you, to share your story to organizations, to churches, to schools. They can bring you in to tell your story live and direct. Please let them know how to network with you.
All right, you can catch me on Twitter at J, the letter J, underscore McGhee, MC, capital G-H-E-E. That's Twitter, J underscore McGhee. So that's a Twitter. For Facebook, you can reach me at J space McGhee. Same spelling, M-C-G-H-E-E. Those are my major two. I do have the Instagram and Snapchat. I don't really know how to use those quite well yet, but they're there. But if you go to Facebook and you go to Twitter, those two are good platforms to reach me.
And we will have his information posted on our page as well, so that you can make sure you can get in touch with this brother. But tonight you have him live and direct. In fact, the phone lines will still be open, 917-725-4241. Dr. McGhee, please let us know a little bit about this challenge of life. I know that you know the real deal, but our audience, they need to know where you're from, man, and we got to talk about your story because it's an amazing story, and we want to hear it. So if you could just kind of walk us down memory lane, because now you're Dr. McGhee, now you're principal. I mean, you're doing big things, and we know that you can be superintendent. We know you can be mayor, governor. You might even be the next president. So we are supporting Dr. McGhee on the Sidney Rhodes Show 100%. We believe this brother's thorough, and he's got a great story. But if you could take us back to the roots, because a lot of times they say people from single parent families and whatnot, you know, they might not make it, you know, that they can't become Dr. McGhee, and you've proven all that wrong. So if you can kind of let us know the Jason McGhee story.
Oh man, yeah. Man. So I'm from Detroit, Michigan. The place where people are petrified of. and that's where I'm from Detroit, Michigan. And I was raised by my mom and my grandmother, for the most part. And I don't know, I think I'm having a new twist on this idea of this single parent, you know, upbringing, because absolutely, my mom was there, thick and thin. My dad left at 3 years old. He left when I was 3 years old, and I don't remember much about him at that time. I do remember that he called me a black dog. I called him a black dog one day when he spanked me as a 3-year-old. That was my earliest and memory of him. And he left us when we were 3 years old. I'm the eldest of three. My mom had three boys, and I was the oldest. And she worked at General Motors, like most people from Detroit. And when I was 9 years old, I realized that I had to become an adult. And it was that point I went from understanding to overstanding that, you know, my role as a kid has dramatically changed. And it was different because my mom walked into the room and said, listen, I need you to help me. And that changed my life. And that's when I stopped being a kid and became a man. I had two younger brothers, and my youngest brother had a different father than myself and my second brother Terrence. And he kind of played that role of stepfather in the background. I have to give him credit for being part of my village as well, because he did help raise me. But he wasn't my father. He wasn't my father. So that was tough. But at 9 years old, man, I had to make it happen, and so I did. And my focus was to take care of my mother, to honor my mother, and do everything that I could to help my mother. So she told me school was important. Make sure you take care of school, because if you take care of school, you're going to be fine. And so, I mean, we lived in Detroit, and she worked there, and she worked at General Motors, and the shifts changed. She worked the second shift. And that second shift meant she went to work at 3 o'clock and got off around midnight. So when I woke up to go to school, she would give us our lunch money, and I'd make sure my brothers got up and got out the house, and we went to school. And when we got home, she wasn't there. And so it was my job to make sure that the neighbors didn't know that we were home alone. I'm 9, 10, 11, 12 years old every day in Detroit. And we had a basketball hoop in our backyard, so everybody wanted to come and play basketball in our backyard. I mean, we had the truth basketball hoop. It was in the ground. We had the pole. You can lower it. I mean, everybody wanted to come, but nobody knew that my mom was never home. But this was an everyday thing. We moved a lot. We were a very transient family, and oftentimes we found ourselves staying with my grandmother. My grandmother, her name was Gandy. There was no grandma. Her name was Gandy. And that's what we called her. That's what the hood called her. Everybody called her Gandy. When my mom was working, there were times where she would get nervous about us being home. She would send us with my grandmother. There were times we lived with my grandmother. And I spent a lot of my days growing up on Ward Street, on 6 Mile in Detroit. And so my grandmother was also like my mother, my father, my village. She helped raise me. She furthered the educational piece for us. And Detroit was rough. Detroit was rough. There was a point where I was catching the bus because we lived on one side of the city, and I would catch a 2-hour bus ride. It was a 2-hour bus ride from where I stayed on Joy Road in Southfield all the way to Bobby in Middle School, which is on 8 Mile in Wyoming. A 2-hour bus ride one way. Catching a city bus as a young kid in middle school. And I saw life on the DOT. I saw life. I saw homeless people. I saw kids in school. I saw everybody on that bus. And I, in fact, even saw my father on that bus one day. I did, man. I did. I was 15 years old, and I'm catching the bus coming from school, and I see him, and I recognize him, and I wonder if he recognized me. He did. He recognized me all right. And we had a brief conversation, and that was about it. That was him setting up coming to my birthday, coming to see me on my birthday when I was 15 years old. You talk about weird and surreal. That was a very weird situation, seeing him on that bus. But that bus was very instrumental in giving me that experience to the outside world in Detroit. But again, rough, man, rough. That was a rough thing to do for a kid being in middle school, busing all the way on the city bus just to go to school. And I was at school every day on time. I was never late. I'm not even going to say rarely ever. I was never late to school. I didn't miss school. I went to school with pneumonia. I was crazy. I just couldn't miss school, and it was because my why. The reason I was going to school was for my mom. She needed me, so I put that in my system so deep. It was so ingrained in my system that I had to make sure that I supported this woman because my father didn't, man. And so it was my job to do it. And I said, what do you need me to do, Mom? She said, I just need you to go to school. And then she started opening the door for me with opportunities. Her brother, my uncle, He went to private school all his life. My grandmother is his mother, and he went to private school all his life, and he went on to go to Notre Dame. He graduated from Vanderbilt Law School, and seeing him go before me, my mom would put me real close to him. So when I had spring breaks and Christmas breaks and from school and things like that, she would send me to go to Notre Dame and be on the campus at Notre Dame. And as a seventh grader, I'm on the campus at Notre Dame, and I'm sitting playing John Madden football with Jerome Bettis, Hall of Fame football player, NFL football player, Jerome Bettis. I'm playing John Madden with this guy, Rocket Ishmael. I mean, the list goes on. I'm sitting there with these great guys, and I'm on the college scene, man. And that was my mom wanted me to do that. And when you go there and you you go in the cafeteria, it's all you can eat. You know, that makes you want to go to college right there, right? Outside of the other intellectual things and all the people I was meeting, you can eat all you want. That was different. But she exposed me early to that lifestyle, and it wasn't enough. It was like, this is what I want for you. And I said, that's what I'm going to do. So my mom exposed me to that, and it was my duty to make sure that she was okay. So I did that. Had those experiences. And one thing I got to point out, Sidney, I got to point out this. My uncle went to private school, right? All his life, man. I mean, he went to Shrine. He did the Catholic school thing. He was good. He's a great guy to this day. Right now, he's fantastic. He's phenomenal. But in the hood, and I didn't know this until my grandmother passed away last month. And he asked my grandmother.
Let me. Again, brother, our condolences, our prayers, and our thoughts to your grandmother, man. Prayers and thoughts. I know that's a recent, just last month, and our hearts still go out to you for that, brother. So, thank you for sharing that part.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot, man. You know, and my uncle asked my grandmother. He said, "Well, why don't you have a Cadillac like everybody else in the family and in the hood? You know, you in Detroit, you're gonna have a Cadillac, you know." And my grandmother was a nurse, and she had to stop being a nurse because she lost her hearing. And she said, "Well, the reason why I don't have a Cadillac is because I chose to put my money in you and his education." So that's the stock that I come from, man. Right? That's the stock that I come from. So with all that being said, went to Notre Dame, visited college as a young kid. I ended up going to Michigan State University. I went to Mumford High School in Detroit. Mumford High School was one of the roughest schools in the city of Detroit. Nobody wanted to go to Mumford High School. You walk in, metal detectors every day. We had a police station in our school. It was a rough school. You couldn't wear the color orange. Don't come to school with a necklace on or Jordan. Don't do it. It was against the dress code. In addition to our school dress code, you could not wear leather jackets, gold chains, Jordans, or the color orange because of the gangs. They had a really, really high HIV rate in our school. It was like an epidemic. It was studied by the CDC. It was a big deal. You know, I didn't want to go to that school. But there was a program in that school for people like me. It was called the Merit Program. And it was a tracking kind of a program, but it was a program for high-achieving students in this school. And it was the best thing. It was a phenomenal program. And it allowed me to go to Michigan State University. I got to step back. One more second. I got to step back. I applied to Michigan State University, got in, and they rescinded my admission. I got in, and they had rescinded my admission. They said they didn't get my payment.
Wait a minute. So you're in after all this work, after all the sacrifice, after all the people praying for you, supporting you. You get in and you own your way, and then you get notified.
Yep. You don't attend Michigan State anymore. We rescinded your admission. We don't have your fees. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Have a good life. And so I called. I produced a receipt. Here's my receipt that I sent in of my money order. They said, we don't know what to tell you. Wow, right? Dreams shattered. Like, I'm supposed to be in college. I'm the one that's supposed to make it out. I'm the one that's supposed to make this dream happen. Nope. So I applied again, paid the money again. They let me in the day before, 2 days before school started. I had to do it twice, right? I went to Michigan State, loved Michigan State University, did what I had to do at Michigan State University. My experience was grown. It grew. I learned so much. I met so many people. I had so many experiences. I learned how to be a leader.
And you got that 06 affiliation, right?
Yeah. We'll get to that.
All right.
So get to Michigan State University, but that's where things really changed for me. And it was my freshman year. It was during spring break, my freshman year, and I decided to stay at home stay at school as opposed to go home. And I asked myself a question.
Dr. McGhee, let me interrupt you for a second. You do have a call coming in here with Dr. Jason McGhee. You are live on the Sidney Rhodes show. Let's see if we can get this other call coming in too, Rhodes. Apologize, we missed that call. Caller, you're welcome to call back. I know this is a fantastic opportunity to be able to speak live with Dr. Jason McGhee. 917-725-4241, 917-725-4241. Let me see if I can get it this time, Dr. McGhee. Just a moment, please. You're live on the Sidney Rhodes show with Dr. Jason McGhee. Caller, we can hear you. The background, but you're live on the Sidney Rhodes show with Dr. Jason McGhee.
How you doing, Dr. McGhee?
Good evening. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Actually, Jason, this is someone you know very well. This is Bryant Robertson.
I figured it out. I heard your voice, man. What's going on?
Nothing much. I just want to start by saying it's good to hear you online. For the callers, I've been knowing Dr. McGhee since middle school, since Bowman. And ever since we were children, Dr. McGhee has been an inspiration, even to the other young people, even to his own peers. But I do have a question for you, Dr. McGhee. We know your story. You graduated from Michigan State. You are Dr. McGhee now. And a question that I asked you about a couple of months ago. How does what impact does it have on you to have your children see you graduate and to see you go from the master's level to the PhD level? What impact does that have on you to be able to share that with your children?
Great question.
Man, that is a great question. I remember you asking me that, and it's something that I'm consistently thinking about every day, Brian. You know what? I think that this is initially, it's one of those things where my kids are 8. My son Jason is 8. My daughter Taylor she'll be 6 in January, and I have Carter who's 20 months. And they're doing well right now. I can't believe they're not trying to figure out where I am and what I'm doing, but they're watching some TV right now. I think for them on the surface level, man, it's very subconscious. It's very subconscious because they're watching this happen as they're learning about school, as they're learning about life, as they're watching their mom and their dad. They're watching their mom and dad is saying, all right, so my daddy, they're calling him Dr. McGhee in school because they go to school with me. So they know so they're starting to hear the title. They're starting to see the respect in the community. And I think it's working on them at a very subconscious level. But my kids are smart, man. They're very inquisitive, right? And I think that they know deep in their spirits, they know without knowing that they're special. They're part of something special. They're in a special family, and their dad is a very special guy. But I think it's very subconscious for them. And I like it that way, with them being so young, and it's happening when they are very young, because not only have they watch me do homework with them. They're in school doing homework, and they see daddy doing homework with them. So they know the level of how important education is. They know it. I don't have to tell them. They know it because I'm doing it with them. So I think that's just a huge piece right there. We can analyze that right there and go deep with that. But I think it's something that once they get to that crossroad when they get to that 6th grade crossroad, when you start questioning life and you're transitioning, I call it the cocoon. When kids go into that cocoon and their body's starting to change, they're starting to stink a little bit more. They're starting to figure out why is hair growing out of my body. They think they know everything, and they don't know anything at all. They're very confused. We all been through it. You know what I mean? I think when that happens, that's when that stuff's going to kick in. 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. When I get to the 11th grade, it's going to kick in. And my dad, my family, the stock that I come from, I mentioned that earlier. I said the stock that I come from is heavy. It's heavy. Listen, I'm part of the Winans family. I don't know if you guys know about the Winans family in Detroit. That's my family. My stock, I come from a line of kings and people who are very, very successful, man.
Bridge over troubled waters.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. That's my family. So I think that my kids are going to, the good thing about them, right, the impact that they have, that they get, it's not something that they're reading about. It's not something that they're seeing on TV. It's not this hope thing because they see a Barack Obama and say, I can be like that because of him. They can say, I've watched my dad do homework. I've watched him struggle at night. I watched him come home and make dinner. I was with him when he drove me to school. I watched him in school. I watched him come into my classroom and walk with my teacher. I watched him work with the students. I watched him discipline kids. I watched all these kids come and hug him. Why can't I hug my daddy like that? Why would my dad let me hug him like that in school? They get to see it and experience it firsthand. It's not a story, Brian. It's not a story. They experiencing this firsthand every day, all day. In the morning, at night, they see me at my best and my worst, and they get to experience that. And that, I wish I had something like that. You know what I'm saying? And I had glimpses of it. I had little dabs of it with my uncle going to college with him, watching him from afar. See, they're not watching me from afar. They're on my back as all this is happening. So I think that is an experience that they're going to have that's going to give them a leg up on all these other cats out here. And that's just my personal take on it with my kids. So I don't know if I answered your question, but that's probably the best I can do with that.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I appreciate it. And I'm proud of you, by the way.
Yeah, I know you are. I'm proud of you just as much, probably more. You have no idea, man. I love you, bro.
Man, love you too, man.
Caller, we appreciate your call. Thank you very much for calling. Have a great night.
Thanks. You too.
Well, Dr. McGhee, I mean, your fan base is well-earned, sir, well-earned. If you'd like to talk to Dr. Jason McGhee, you can reach us 917-725-4241, 917-725-4241. Once again, Dr. McGhee, I know there are people that are thinking that, that we've made good on our promise when we told them that you have an amazing story and they're waiting to get back to your story. But meanwhile, they might be thinking, you know what, there's something else that's true. We want him to come to our group. We want him to come to our school and speak. We want him to come to our church. We want him to come to our function. And they need to know how to reach you, and let's go ahead and give them that information again so that they can, because hey, they want this, they want to be able to see you for themselves and have that energy in the room and be able to ask you questions and have the children see you and hear from you. So once again, let's give them that contact information right quick, please.
All right, so on Twitter, you can reach me at J_McGhee, McGhee. On Facebook, switched it up a little bit. There's J Space McGhee on Facebook, J Space McGhee. Again, MC capital GHEE, Facebook and Twitter. That's where you can reach me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're honored here on the Sidney Rhodes Show to have Dr. Jason McGhee. He's telling us his amazing story from coming from Detroit, a very, very tough upbringing. But he made a vow to his mom. His mom put him in that room and said, hey, I need your help. I need your help. And he had to take care of his brothers. And his mom was working second shift at General Motors, going in at 3, coming out at midnight. So, she would give him the lunch money in the morning and they would go to school. But when they come home, it's just Jason McGhee. He had to make it happen. He had to make sure everything was taken care of. And even at that age, had to make sure that the family was safe in a hard part of Detroit, making sure they're safe as little children. But he had a wonderful grandmother as well, and they pushed education. Education is the way out. And that was his why, to make his mother proud, to follow the dreams of education. So he went through these programs, and he went to different schools, and he had a chance to get to Michigan State. And then there was a big hang up where, hey, he thought he was getting ready to go, and they sent him a letter saying, no, we didn't receive your money. No, you're not in. You're not coming. So he had to overcome that and reapply and the whole deal. But he never gave up. Never gave up. His dad left when he was 3 years old. 3 years old. Saw him again on a bus at 15 for a birthday party. 3 years old, Dad left. But yet he kept fighting. Because he had to make his mom proud. I mean, today he's Dr. Jason McGhee, but we haven't got there yet. So you're in Michigan State, sir, and you were letting us know some of the things that were going on during that experience. The floor is yours, sir.
Man. Turning point, man. My freshman year, it was spring break, and I decided to stay at the school, and I didn't want to go home. I needed some quiet time, and I started reflecting, and it was huge, man. It was huge. This is what I did. I sat down, and I said to myself, what do you lie to yourself about? What do you lie to yourself about? And I'm looking around, I'm like, where's this coming from? And I said, in order to go to the next level, you have to start, you have to have this conversation with yourself and figure out, what do you lie to yourself about? And I answered that question for myself. And it allowed me to go to the next level. And that was huge. And that's something that stuck with me, because when you listen, my biggest thing was, who was I? Who am I as a person? Because at this stage, my mom had given me a lot. My grandmother had given me a lot. And this is a point in my life where I don't know what else they could have given me, because this is the part where I feel like the balance of life needs to come in play, right? You have, in some cultures, you have the yin and the yang, right? The light and the dark, right? That checkerboard of life. And then you have the ups and you have man and woman. My mom and my grandmother, they were there. So that feminine side was definitely support there. The other side was not there, like I needed it. Got to get props to my stepdad. He was there. He put some things in. He put some things in my cement, right? But my father, that piece was not there. So I was struggling. And so I needed to figure out who I was as a person, as a man. And I struggled with that. And that's when I realized I had daddy issues. So I created this idea, this question, what do you lie to yourself about? And so I started answering that question, man, and then I went to a different level. I started taking things into my own hands, and I actually had a conversation with my father that year. I don't know how I got his number. I think my mom made it, called me and said, hey, I got his information. And I called him, and I said, hey, listen, I'm 18 years old. I'm at Michigan State University. I'm here. I'm doing well, blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't that conversation where I said, no thanks to you. I forgave him. And I had peace. Because I've been lying to myself for so long that I'm going to be okay because I don't have a father. I'm going to be all right because I don't have a father. Things I'm going to do it. And I wasn't. When I faced that, had that conversation with him, stopped lying to myself, I went to another level. I met my wife at Michigan State University. I didn't know it at the time, but my freshman year we met. We met at Michigan State University, and I didn't know. I didn't think it was going to work out either.
Well, now, wait a minute. We got to give props to that situation. I mean, what happened there, bro? What happened?
No, I met her, man, and I met her at the beginning of freshman year, and it's like I saw her, and immediately I was like, wow. I didn't know how to respond to that feeling. I was like, who is this? You know, I don't even know if she goes here, but that's a nice looking woman right there, you know. But it's one of them things, man. People on campus, everybody, you know, you in a new environment, and you see all kind of women. There are all kind of women out running around on campus. So you looking around like, wow. So sister shows up. I'm like, I was introduced to her. I'm like, hey, how you doing? I thought she was somebody's sister visiting. I didn't think she went to the school. But then I saw her in one of my classes and one of my meetings. I'm like, who? She go here? Oh, man. So it was on from there. And it was one of those things where we became friends and everybody was like, y'all go together? And it's like, no, it's not that kind of party. You know, it's just, you know, she's cool, I'm cool, we cool. And everybody thought that we were an item and thought we should be an item. And so freshman year, we would eat lunch together. I would go watch Golden Girls in her room with her. But
wait a minute. Not the Golden Girls, bro. Not the Golden Girls, bro. I'm just saying.
That's what we watch, man. That's
the Golden Girl. Man. Hey, let me ask you a question, man. Is it true that the lady that played the oldest character was actually the youngest?
That's what I hear. I believe so. Yep, Estelle Getty, man. I think she was the youngest.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You like, dang, so you talking about my Golden Girl, but you know about him too.
Right. Wait, well, you can translate.
Like, how you know that? When you talking about the Golden Girl, but not okay.
You know,
I'm loving it.
You know, Rose.
So freshman year, y'all doing the Golden Girls, chilling.
Yep. And she was very adamant with me, man. We were washing clothes one day. Very adamant. She said, listen, I came to school to get an education. I came to school to be a doctor. And the last thing I need is a boyfriend. I just got out of a relationship. I'm not trying to be in one. And quite frankly, she said, my goal is to become closer to God right now, and you are making that difficult for me. You know, so I don't think this is going to necessarily work out. And so, man, I'm just like, wow. First of all, you trying to be a doctor? I'm not about to get in the way of that. I said, and you don't want to be in a relationship? And first of all, I would like that, but I'm playing hardcore now. Like, I ain't even trying to do all that, you know. And then she said, I am getting in the way of her relationship with God, and I was like, I'm not playing with that, man. So I stepped off. Stepped up hard, like cold turkey, like no Golden Girls, no lunches, no visits. I was like, I would see her and say hi, but I left her alone, man, because I'm not doing that, right? And the thing is, she didn't want me to back off that far, but I was out. I was out. And so it was a while before we even. It wasn't until senior year that we could reconnected because of that. So
you're like, hey, I'm related to the Winans. I can't become between you and God now. I just can't. I can't do it. You know, I mean, I got tendencies. You know, this is a problem here. You know, you a beautiful woman. I'm kicking it with you. I mean, now you tell me. I mean, I can't. I just can't have it on my conscience. I just can't. Just can't.
Yep. So just fast forward, man. We went through college. Applied to the College of Education. I got in. Check this out. I got in. Things were going well. I got a note saying that I was no longer accepted to the College of Education.
You need to frame these letters, man. You got the one from the freshman before you got in, and now this one. I mean, you got to start framing these. We need to have this as part of the trophy collection, the story, right? We need these letters.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's real. It's real. Apparently, they didn't get my essay portion to my test. And so there wasn't enough time for me to do it again so that I could be reconsidered. So I had to wait another year and do it and apply again. That was hard, man. So I did that. I did it again. I wrote the letter again. I applied again, and I got into the College of Education. I ended up finishing Michigan State with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Graphic Design and Art Education. And then I went on to teaching. I went into teaching. Taught in Lansing School District for a couple years.
You still didn't mention the brothers, man.
Yeah, that's a soft spot, man. So it is, man.
Is it a soft spot?
Because this, you go through, you do, it's something you always want to do, right? You do it, and You look into the organization, you do it. And I love, the thing is, man, let me tell you about Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. When I was interested in that organization, I was a freshman at Michigan State. I was a freshman. I knew about the organization, and the thing was, that organization wasn't on campus at the time when I got there. But when I hung around people that were older than I was. So my buddies were juniors and seniors. Those were the guys I hung around with. They were engineering majors. They were these smart guys, and they were cool. We listened to hip hop. Those were my guys. They were all older than me, and they were showing me the ropes. And I go to a pro day, and I'm sitting there hanging out. Alphas come out, and the guys that I'm hanging with are the guys who crossed. I'm like, oh, he couldn't tell me anything. Those are my guys, man. I'm like, oh man. So I get involved in the process, and things were going very smoothly. Things were going well. And then, with the process, there were some things that happened that caused my group at that time, to not be able to finish. And so we had to push forward. It was one of those things. Again, you're very hopeful about doing something, and a curveball is thrown to you in life, and then it's like, what are you going to do? Now what are you going to do? I done tried to get you with the Michigan State thing, right? Boom, and you overcame that. College of Education thing, I tried to get you with that, and you overcame that. And then, I know you want to play this. I know you want to be in this fraternity. And I then threw a curveball at you now. What are you going to do about that? Well, I figured out a way, and I still made it happen. Right? I became a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. But the thing is, and this is part of the whole story, Sid, is that, a brother got to do things. I have to work twice as hard all the time. All the time, no matter how many opportunities I've had, no how many hurdles I had to jump, and that tenacity is in me, man. So I had to go about these things more than in more than one way. I couldn't just go straight ahead and make it happen straightforward. I couldn't. That's not in my story. To get things as they come, Even with my wife, man, it didn't. She didn't with the bombshell. Nope, no boyfriend, trying to be a doctor. And I'm trying to get closer to God. Holla at your girl. I couldn't even just walk in like, hey, what's up? We've been courting. We've been watching Golden Girls. I'm hanging out with you, putting in my time. What's up? Nope. I had to wait for everything. Tenacity. I'm a very tenacious guy, man. And that's why I was able to make it to an EDD. That's how I was able to get a doctorate, because of the level of tenacity and persistence. That's it. That's what it is, man. Don't give up. Never give up. And so the same thing, I graduated, went to school, man, they kicked me, they told me, hey, we got to lay you off because you're lowest on the totem pole. But you were teacher. I was nominated teacher at Walmart Teacher of the Year. I'm getting celebrations from the superintendent. It was a great day.
I want you to relay that again, not just the tenacity, because I already know that about you. That's why I'm so proud that you're on the program, and the message you have for our young people and adults with that tenacity is just right on time. But I want them to hear that fact that you were nominated Teacher of the Year, and the next thing you know, you're laid off.
Yep, laid off. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. This has never happened before. You're doing great in our schools, but you're low on the totem pole, man. So, sorry. Best wishes. Yeah, man, that was tough. But here we go again. You do something special. I didn't ask for it. I didn't look for it. It came to me. And they nominated me Teacher of the Year. But we gotta let you go. And so I went back and got my master's at Michigan State University, and I taught college classes. Phenomenal. Oh, I love that. I love being in front of people. I love teaching. I did that. And my wife was in medical school. And we graduated at the same time. And then we moved to Grand Rapids. So she graduated with her medical degree, and I graduated with my master's, and then we moved to Grand Rapids and started our lives there.
Right there. Let me get a quick pause. I want you to know how you can contact Dr. Jason McGhee. He's available for speaking engagements, your churches, your organizations, your schools. Hey, this brother needs to be all over the world. telling his story. As you can see, has a phenomenal story, and you know that young people will be inspired by. He's not going to let them have excuses. So when you have young people in your church or your organization and you're trying to tell them, no, don't give up. I understand. That's what okay. But you can have Dr. Jason McGhee come and let them know his story and talk about not giving up for real. Because there were plenty of times, as you can see in his story, that he could have just said, hey, it's too much. It's too hard. I'm not going to make it. But he didn't do it. And that's the story that our young people need to hear. So we're at the point now when, we're going to talk about his family. He has children now and principal and the challenges that we're facing now in this environment where children are feeling this incredible tension, this anxiety since the election. And we're going to come full circle and deal with what's happening right now. And once again, the trials that he's having right now right after this break. But I wanted to be able to give you, again, his contact information. We take a quick break, Dr. McGhee, and come back, and we're going to wrap them all up together. So it's going to be a great third segment. But if you could please give your information again for him.
All right, on Twitter, I am at J underscore McGhee, McGhee. And on Facebook, I'm at J space McGhee, McGhee. Facebook, Twitter, that's where you can reach me. That's how it goes down.
We'll be right back on the Sidney Rhodes. So you're not going to want to miss this. We're going to finish up what's happened since then and the challenges that we're still facing and how he's not giving up even today. Dr. Jason McGhee on the Sidney Rhodes Show. We are so honored that you're here. Stay locked. We'll be right back. Sidney Rhodes Show, Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Follow us at Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Sidney Rhodes Show. You're on the right road. Sidney Rhodes Show. Have you heard? You ain't hear about that. Did you hear? Who told you that Increased Solution LLC is making a 24/7 network? Come on now. Well, what about the Sidney Rhodes show? Oh, Sidney Rhodes show is still gonna be from 9 to midnight though. Oh, okay, because you don't be tripping. Sidney Rhodes show still from 9 to midnight. Okay, but you mean all those other hours, 24/7, need to be filled, which means cats can have their own show? You tripping? Are you serious? Or they can be guests on other shows? So you mean if you had a talent or idea or something you want to do, you got a chance right here to reach the world? Come on, man. What's the catch? What? All they gotta do is get at you on Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. So wait a minute, what kind of topics? I mean, what they could do? What? Relationships, religion, news, education, health, race, business development, entertainment, empowerment. What? All of that? And whatever else? What? All they gotta do is get at you. Come. What you trying to say? That if they want to get out there, they can get out there. This their chance. For real though. For real, they just go Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr., send you a message and be like, hey, this is something I want to do. And then if it's good, it's good. Is that what you're trying to say? For real? Man, that sounds all right. That's kind of cool. All right. Nah, I'm with that. I ain't going to hold you up with that. All right. Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Okay. All right. I might try to have a show. That's all right. Well, wait. What if I got a product or a service, something I just want to advertise to the world? I could. Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr., and I can hook up and try to get that too? Man, that's all right. Oh, man, go on, man. That's cool, man. All right. No, I ain't gonna hate. I like it. 24/7 network. All right, helping people, giving some good perspectives, having people think about things, man, and some entertainment too, man. That's hot. All right. I'm cool. That'll work. Sidney Rhodes Show, Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Follow us at Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Sidney Rhodes Show. You're on the right road. Sidney Rhodes Show. Sidney Rhodes Show. We are so honored that you're joining us tonight. We have the privilege of having Dr. Jason McGhee here with us. And he's spending time with us tonight, and we just love it. So, we were talking about the risk in society right now, and active shooters and what's happening in Charleston, and whether or not we need to take more precaution to protect those of us that are vulnerable, our children when we're in church, whether the members, just we have to stop the violence. But then we were also talking about the climate that seems to perpetuate this violence, and people, just the anxiety since the election, etc. And it's very, very real for the adults, but it's also real for our children. Dr. Jason McGhee said, hey, he had to call in tonight because it's so real for him. Not only is he a principal of an elementary school, but his own children attend the school that he's a principal at. So he has a unique perspective. And we just love taking this voyage down memory lane with him because his story is phenomenal. If you have not heard the Dr. Jason McGhee story, I'm glad that you're here tonight. And if you missed any part of it, it'll be on demand. You can go to iTunes or YouTube, put in the Sidney Rhodes Show, and you can listen to the Dr. Jason McGhee story. Share it with your family and friends, your loved ones, and those young people that you know that need to hear an inspirational message of tenacity, not giving up. Coming from the single parent does not mean you can't become Dr. Jason McGhee, because he's proven it. Coming from a situation where your father left at 3 does not mean, coming up from Detroit and going to tough schools does not mean that you can't become Jason McGhee, Dr. McGhee. And that's the great story that we're presenting to you tonight. Dr. McGhee, you got to let people know how to reach you, how to contact you, bring you to come and speak live to their school, to their organization, at church. You got to let them know how to reach you.
You can catch me on Twitter, man. Twitter, at J_McGhee, McGhee, or on Facebook at J space. You hit the space bar, J space McGhee, McGhee. That's how you can reach me, man. Real simple, real easy.
We appreciate that. We're having a lot of fun with you. And I mean, we're talking about some very, very tough issues, but I mean, it's also a lot of fun because, hey, soldiers have to smile too sometimes, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that they'll notice about you when they bring you in to come and speak to their group or to their staff or their children, the students. They'll see that, hey, it's an amazing story, but Dr. Jason McGhee comes with so much energy that you might laugh and cry 3 or 4 times during his same speech. And that's just going to be an amazing experience when you bring them in to come and you hear them live and you can ask them questions live. But tonight you can also reach us, 917-725-4241, 917-725-4241. And I want to let you know, parents, your children, they may be nodding off right now, but if you got a few that are up watching little movies or something like that, and you want them to have an opportunity to call in and ask Dr. McGhee a question or receive some motivation, or maybe you just want to say some tough words to him, to encourage him a little bit, to not give up, feel free to call 917-725-4241. And if you would like that opportunity again, send us a link. Let us know that you want us to have them on again, that you are prepared to have your child or you yourself to call to get some advice. And we'll try to have Dr. McGhee on as many times as we can to answer those questions live for you. Dr. McGhee, the floor is yours, sir. Keep taking us through the story. It's an amazing story, and we're just honored to have you here. So the floor is yours again.
So thank you, man. Thank you again. It's an honor to be on a Sidney Rhodes show, telling my story. And I appreciate you giving me the platform to do this and the time to do this. And at this point in my life, I'm moved to the west side of the state, over here in Grand Rapids, and my wife just finished her medical. She just finished medical school, and I just finished my master's program, and we moved over here to Grand Rapids, and got back into the school systems, and we were expecting our first child, and the grind got real fast because this is the first time that I was jobless. The first time I didn't have a job, and my wife was a resident physician at a Spectrum Butterworth, working crazy hours as a resident physician and in Grand Rapids. and that is a lot of work for an individual. And my goal was to make sure I supported her like I supported my mom. And so when I let her know that I wanted to marry her and we got married, she knew that she had someone who was going to be in the trenches with her and be in the trenches in our family. And I made sure I supported her through medical school. So at that same time, we had our first child. We had Jason in 2008, and I was working in the schools, and things were going quite well. Working at Crescent High School, working ninth grade students. Really living. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in high schools. I wanted to be back in the schools again, working with kids. I love the college life. I love post-secondary education. That was great. It was a different experience for me, but it was a fulfilling experience. And I started working at Crescent High School, and I started working with those kids. And I also started doing presentations for the GrabSet program at Crescent High School to all the middle schools in the Grand Rapids Public Schools as I recruited kids to our program. So I went to every middle school in Grand Rapids speaking to 8th grade students, making that transition, and it was phenomenal. I loved getting in front of those kids speaking and bringing kids to the high school and watching these guys grow and matriculate right into the college system, man. And so it was a fantastic 4 years working at Crescent High School in the GrabSet program. And it was at that point where I already had my master's in educational administration. I had my administration certification, and I had it in my back pocket, knowing that someday I would be an administrator. But let me tell you what happened. I'm working, I'm grinding, I'm building relationships, I'm talking to people all over the school district, I'm interacting with kids, and movement started to happen. And this is where the rubber meets the road, man. Somebody once said that the definition of opportunity is when preparation is, listen, man, I was prepared because the assistant principal at the time was promoted to the principal of Central High School, and he was looking for an assistant principal. And one of the guys who saw me, who was speaking with me at these middle school presentations, he saw what I had to offer. And my name he started talking about my name came up several times. And when that assistant principal needed a principal, he said, "Hey, I heard you might be good at working with some kids on the assistant principal level." He said, "But I have one question for you. Do you have your certification?" And nobody knew because I didn't talk about it. But I had it in my back pocket, man. I had it in my back pocket. So that's the quote. It says, "Luck is when opportunity meets preparation." That's what. So you can call it luck if you want, but let me tell you, the opportunity was there, and I was prepared, and I became an assistant principal at Innovation Central High School, and I made that move because I was ready, man. I was ready. And was I ready in my heart to leave my kids that I was working with? We were grinding out this high school process and going to college. I wasn't ready in that respect, but I knew at some point that I was gonna transition, and I was ready when they knocked on the door. I answered. So I became assistant principal over at Central High School. I did that for about 4 years, and it was tough, man, because I was a dual principal. I was not only the principal for Innovation Central, I was also the assistant principal for Grand Rapids Montessori. And so I was serving two different schools, two different principals, two different philosophies of education at the same time, splitting my time between the two. So at one point, at 1 minute, it's 11:30. I'm giving advice to college seniors about how to graduate, how to fill out their scholarship papers, who to talk to, when how to make the right move to get to college. 5 minutes later, I'm opening up milks, zipping up jackets and tying shoes with kindergartners in the Montessori program. I mean, the transition was real.
And you got the wife doing the doctorate hookup with the getting her medical situation straight, right? And you got young children. I mean, what is going on? You got all that going on, and I don't know if everybody knows, but what's about to happen is you're not even going to be in the same town.
Exactly, man. And on top of it, I'm super dad, right? I'm already a hyper father because my dad wasn't around, right? So I knew that I had to do this right. I had to do it better than everybody else. I had to make sure that my dad's skills were on point because I didn't want my kids feeling the way I felt growing up, man. So my dad's skills were I'm daddy. You know, so guess what? I'm at home cooking. I'm at home washing clothes. I'm at home getting kids ready, making lunches. I'm doing the dad thing like it's nobody's business. You would think that I was a dad and I didn't have a job, the way how involved I am in my kids' life, you know? And you're right. So grinding out doing that every day was a grind. I love it. I'm an in the trenches kind of guy. And so during that process, I applied to get my doctorate. For the doctorate program at Michigan State University. So here we go again.
As if you weren't doing enough already.
Listen, I come from the family of the Winans, man. I come from a strong bloodline, and the thing is, most of the people in my family don't know how great they are. Most of the people in my community don't know how great they are. I mean, we're from Detroit. Do you understand? People from Detroit are some of the most resilient people on the face of the earth, man. We are. You have to be. You know, and so it's in my blood. And so I go on, man. I applied for the doctorate program at Michigan State University. I get it. And I'm like, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this, man? How am I going to support my family, continue to support my family, be in school full time, work full time, you know? And it's already as hard as it is switching between two programs, two principles, two different philosophies. I wouldn't wish that part on my worst enemy.
I see now, Dr. McGhee. Dr. McGhee, this is where I'm at with you know, our audience and you know what we're going through with our children and the parents who are trying so hard to make it and to make that impression upon their children. This is not a story of a person with a silver spoon, and that's the beauty of it, that they need to hear that if you would have given up at any one of those points, you cannot give up, nor can you expect it to be easy, nor are you entitled. See, that's not what we're about. We're not about, oh, I'm entitled to, it should be easy. We don't have to work 2, 3, 4 times as hard. Maybe you do.
Let that breathe, man.
Got to. Because you got too many times our parents feel as if they are having a major problem impressing upon their child that they got to keep on pushing to the point where maybe they feel like, well, maybe it shouldn't be this hard. Maybe it shouldn't be. No, maybe it is. Maybe it is. And maybe nobody's going to be there for them but them. And at that point, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? They're going to have to dig even deeper, work even harder. And that's our message, that it may not be easy, but you got to keep pushing. Dr. Jason McGhee style.
That's it, man. That's it. That's with everything. You got to keep pushing.
Please continue, sir. Exactly, I just really wanted. I just wanted to wrap that in because that's just, you know, that's just so on time what you're saying. Everything that you're saying, I just keep hearing in the back of my mind a parent wanting to express that to their child, just wanting to make it clear that you are confirming in so many of our teachers' minds. They already know. They want to just be able to say that, like, no, suck it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Please continue, sir. Please continue.
All right. So I'm ready to wrap this up, man. I know my kids wondering what's going on with Daddy. But yeah, man. So assistant principal, we got the doctorate, going to school, trying to figure this whole thing out. What am I going? How am I going to do all of this? Right. And then another opportunity comes. Let me tell you how bizarre this is. See, I didn't go into detail about this, but I was an art teacher. right? When I was teaching, I was an art teacher. You know, and I was teacher of the year. It wasn't art teacher of the year, it was teacher of the year. And so I was an art teacher. And then an opportunity came, and my principal said, hey, McGhee, you might be cut out for this job that just opened up. It's an art school. Here in Grand Rapids, it's an art school, man. You might want to look at this. And I dressed my feet. I asked my wife, hey, what should I do? You know how we're situated right now? Is that a good move? Am I ready to do this? And so at the last minute, I put my name in the hat. I put my name in there and say, hey, let's get it. Let's see what it's going to look like. I would love to work at this school. And they said, you know what? We already picked our person. So I said, as fate would have it, it's not me. So it's like, hey, you know what? I'll catch them next time. It's not a big deal. I'm already happy where I am. I'm getting ready to start this graduate program. Well, I'm in the program at this point. I'm like, all right, listen, it's okay. It's not a big deal. The next year rolls around. The position opens again. And I'm like, I think I have to do this time. I apply for the job. I go to the interview. I get it. Now I'm principal of my own school. I'm in graduate school. At this point, I had just moved from Grand Rapids to Kalamazoo. And I want my job. I want to stay where I am. So now I'm commuting from Kalamazoo to Grand Rapids every day, working as a brand new elementary school principal. Now, mind you, I was a high school assistant principal.
How far is that from Grand Rapids to Kalamazoo, Brother McGhee?
It's about 50 minutes, about 45 to 50 minutes drive.
Every day.
Every day.
And this is Michigan,
every
so
day.
You got the snow and the ice and all that too, right?
Right. But understand, I'm used to it because remember, as a middle school kid, I caught the bus about 2 hours one way. You know? So it's not new. It just I haven't done it in a while. But so I got that going on. I'm commuting. I'm in the graduate program, a doctorate program, and I'm a brand new school principal, navigating my way through an elementary level of pedagogy, which I'm not really used to because I've been in high school for the last few years, right? So the learning curve was steep for a brother. But I made the commute. The second year in, I decided to bring my kids to the school because they were finally of age. They were finally of age. I said, you know, come to school with me. And that's where we are right now. I drive to school every single day from Kalamazoo to Grand Rapids. I finished my doctorate in May of 2016. Elementary school principal. My wife's she's a physician out here in Kalamazoo. And I come home, I cook every single night. I'm cooking right now. I got the noodles on chill mode right now, but I cook every night for my family. And the struggle is still hard, but I'm still here and I'm still in the trenches. That's why I laughed. I laughed at the beginning when you said superintendent, mayor. I'm laughing like, listen, man, I am in the trenches, man. I'm an in the trenches kind of guy. I'm not sure about all that. Maybe when I'm 50 or 60, maybe I'm 65.
Superintendent, mayor, governor, future president.
Listen, they need somebody in the trenches that's like them, and that's one thing that I like to put out there is that the kids that I serve, I'm just like them. I'm just like them. I know what it's like to have the heat turned off in the middle of winter. I know what it's like not to have lights. I know what it's like to have domestic violence happening right in front of you. I know what it's like. I live next door. We live next door to drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? I watched the police with the battering ram bust down the door. My elementary school principal came to me on the playground and asked me if I lived next door to the drug house and pointed to it from the playground. We lived across the street from the school. So drugs was real, man. The struggle was real. We were at work. We weren't dirt poor. We were working. My mom went to General Motors. She had a good little salary, you know what I'm saying? But there were times when there were layoffs, you know, and there were times when we had to stay with grandma. There were times when we had to lean on the family. There were times when, you know, we had to give money to my uncle who's at Notre Dame, you know, to help him out with. There were times when the struggle was real, but there was no stopping the train. There was no stopping. There was no complaining. There was just make it happen. Don't make excuses. Make it happen. And that's kind of one of my mottos, man. Don't make excuses. Just make it happen. You know, and to that, and I try to teach that to my kids every single day when we're driving that hour drive every day. You know, we're going over affirmations and listening to Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins and Eric Thomas. You know, and there are times where if I am talking to Sidney Rhodes, they're gonna hear me talking to them on speakerphone. I mean, that's what we do. That's what we do. And so that's what it's about, man. It's about being tenacious and never giving up. And my mentor, he passed away a few years ago, Randy Grace. He was born with osteogenesis imperfecta. He had a brittle bone disease, and he was told that he was not going to live past the age of 6 because he would cough and break bones. And this man lived to be 43 years old. He was 43 years old, confined to a wheelchair all his life, and he was a motivational speaker. And I would go with him sometimes to watch him speak to people and tell people, you know what? Yeah, you know what? You can't be what you want to be. Everybody can't be what they want to be. He said, I can't be a police officer or a crime fighter and run around tackling people because I'm in a wheelchair. I can't be everything that I want. So I watched his story, and his story was a story of tenacity. I said, so is mine. I'm just like him. So that's my message, man. I am just like you. I don't care where you are in your life. I don't care how much of a professional you are. I'm a doctor. My wife's a doctor. We doing all right. We out there, and we are in our communities. We came. My wife's from Inkster, Michigan. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and so it's not about where it's not where you are. It's where are you right now? Who are you right now? So I just had a powerful session with some of my mentees, man, here in Kalamazoo, and we talked about 3 questions: who are you, why are you here, and where are you going? And you can answer those 3 questions, man. You can start setting the framework for your life. You can start setting the foundation for your life, and you can do with it. You can do what it is that you make it. You can do what you make it if you answer those 3 questions. Stop lying to yourself and just realize, I don't care what happens to you. Just don't give up. When you start, don't stop. You know, and that's in a nutshell my story. I mean, we can go down so many avenues with that. There's so much failure in my story. There's so much success. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of misunderstanding. There's some voids, but success, man. Success is not a destination. It's a journey, man, and I'm on this journey. And I keep hearing you say superintendent, mayor. Listen. Listen, I'm on the path, man, and I'm in the trenches, and right now I'm all about serving kids. I'm all about serving kids and standing on the side of righteousness, man. Standing on the side of righteousness and doing what's right, you know. And that's what it's about, man, and making sure my kids kind of have that same thing. It's the holiday time, you know. Some people celebrate Christmas, and we're having those conversations about Santa Claus and all that and what that looks like, and I'm like, okay, but I'm trying to teach them about giving. And how can I get my son to understand that, you know, if you really want something, you got to give it away? He's not quite getting that idea yet, but I'm really trying to make that happen. And so how can I show him that during this holiday? So that's kind of the goal, you know. And I'm raising a tenacious family and who has supreme confidence. Supreme confidence. So that's what I'm working on, man. That's what I'm working on. So yeah, man, that's the McGhee story in a nutshell. Again, I would love to entertain questions. Hit me up on Facebook. Hit me up on Twitter at J underscore McGhee for Twitter and J space McGhee for Facebook. And we can continue this conversation because this is just the nutshell. This is the tip of the iceberg. It goes deep, man. It goes deep.
We are so honored that we have had Dr. Jason McGhee, and I need you to give that information one more time, sir. That is vital information. Please, please get in touch with Dr. Jason McGhee to continue to get your questions answered, continue the conversation. One more time, please, Dr. Jason McGhee, your contact.
All right, so at Twitter is the letter J, as in Jason, underscore McGhee, McGhee. On Facebook, it's the letter J, space McGhee, McGhee. And you can also hit me up on email. I do email McGhee, J-A, McGhee, McGhee, @gmail.com.
That's just right on time. That's right on time. We want to let everyone know that Dr. Jason McGhee's entire interview here will be on demand. so that you can share it with family and friends. If you go to iTunes or YouTube, put in the Sidney Rhodes Show, you'll be able to dissect this entire interview and share it with the young people, because they need to hear this story. You also are encouraged to contact Dr. Jason McGhee to bring him live to your organization, to your church, to your school, so that he can face-to-face with these children, because he sees them every day. And as he said, he is them. He knows their situation. So when you bring him, you're not bringing somebody that's only theoretical. You're not bringing someone that has a doctorate degree who has no experience with the lights being turned off or the drug house next door. He's been there. They can't give Dr. Jason McGhee that typical excuse of, oh, you don't know me. Oh, you haven't been through what, oh, if you had been through what I've been. No, they can't do that with Dr. Jason McGhee. So you'd be bringing in the right one. You'd be bringing in someone that can support your message in the classroom, that can support your theory of the school being a place where we are challenging ourselves to be better every single day. They need to ask themselves those 3 questions that Dr. McGhee posed. They need to stop lying to themselves like he had to do when he looked at himself in the mirror back at Michigan State University. Hey, well, what am I lying to myself about? And take it to that next level. And that's what we encourage all of us to do. Dr. McGhee, I know that you still got your babies up and the noodles on chill mode. We appreciate you taking the time tonight, and we want to put blessings over your entire family, especially your young ones, that your safety would, and that your prosperity would continue to grow. And yeah, I do talk about those next level spots, but now let me put in a plug for that, because you pushing back over. I gotta say this. We are blessed to have you in whichever role you're in. But I also know that you can also be an amazing force by training other leaders to do what you do. So I don't think that it's ever going to be a bad step if you take a higher position, because there'll be people when you go into their building and you can encourage them and support them the same way you're doing now in the trenches, but you'll be exponentially impacting. So, I mean, I don't think what you're doing is wrong at all. We love it. We support it 100%. But if you do take these other levels, you will still be able to just kind of spread out, like the spider. You'll be able to put out the branches and hopefully try to have them emulate some of your success. And then it can just grow, because tell you the truth, man, we are in such dire straits, as you know, that we need all the good folks that we can get. And it'd be a shame if people in California can't benefit from Dr. Jason McGhee, if people down in New Orleans can't benefit from Dr. Jason McGhee, on and on. You see what I mean? So, it'd be a shame if only the people in a certain town get the benefit of Dr. Jason McGhee. I mean, that just... come on, man! Don't rob us all, bro. Don't rob us, brother. Don't rob. Hey, man, much love, and I'm gonna let you know, Dr. McGhee, you are welcome to call us anytime. You have the red carpet here at the Sidney Rhodes Show. We support you, and one more time, we're giving it up for Dr. Jason McGhee.
Thank you, man. And I will be, I love the show, man. So you'll hear from me. It's not the last time. It's the first time, but it's not the last time. I promise.
There it is. You have a great night. Any other closing words that you might have?
Hey, man, I'll say this, man. One of my brother, Dick Gregory, fraternity brother, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, he said this, and this is something that I'm holding on to. All of us, we need to be like a turtle. You got to be like a turtle, man. You got to be hard on the outside, soft on the inside, but willing to stick your neck out. And that's how I'm living my life these days, man. And I hope that everybody else does the same thing.
Much love. Dr. Jason McGhee, ladies and gentlemen. Sidney Rhodes Show. We'll be right back. The Sidney Rhodes Show. Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Follow us at Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. The Sidney Rhodes Show. You're on the right road. The Sidney Rhodes Show. So yeah, I just, it's just a part of speaking out for those that, don't have a voice, we have an obligation, to help cats. It just can't be about us all the time. There's people that need help, and this is what we do, we got to reach back. We got to help out. Sidney Rhodes Show. That's what we all about. Have you heard? You ain't hear about that. Did you hear? Who told you? That Increased Solution LLC is making a 24/7 network? Come on now. Well, what about the Sidney Rhodes show? Oh, Sidney Rhodes show is still going to be from 9 to midnight, though. Oh, okay, because, you know, you don't be tripping. Sidney Rhodes show is still from 9 to midnight. Okay. But you mean all those other hours, 24/7, need to be filled? Which means cats can have their own show? You tripping. Are you serious? Or they can be guests on other shows? So you mean if you had a talent or idea or something you want to do, you got a chance right here to reach the world? Come on, man. What's the catch? What? All they gotta do is get at you? On Facebook? Sidney J. Rhodes Jr.? So what? Wait a minute, what kind of topics? I mean, what, they could do what? Relationships, religion, news, education, health, race, business development, entertainment, empowerment? What? All of that? And whatever else? What? All they gotta do is get at you? Come, what you trying to say? That if they want to get out there, they can get out there. This is their chance. For real, though? For real, they just go Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr., send you a message and be like, hey, this is something I want to do, and then if it's good, it's good. Is that what you're trying to say? For real? Man, that sounds all right. That's kind of cool. All right. Nah, I'm with that. I ain't going to hold you up with that. All right. Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Okay, all right. I might try to have a show. That's all right. Well, wait. What if I got a product or a service, something I just want to advertise to the world? I could Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr., and I can hook up and try to get that too? Man, that's all right. Oh, man, go on, man. That's cool, man. All right. No, I ain't gonna hate. I like it. 24/7 network. All right, helping people, giving some good perspectives, having people think about things, man, and some entertainment too, man. That's hot. All right. I'm cool. That'll work.
Little by little, piece by piece, I take back what's been stolen from me. Little by little, piece by piece, until I'm complete. Got my eyes on you, and you got no clue what I'm supposed to do. I can't help myself. Little by little, piece by piece, I take back what's been stolen from me. Little by little, piece by piece, until I'm complete. Take was not yours. If you know who I am, when the night will fall, I'll haunt your dream. Little by little, piece by piece, I take back what's been stolen from me. Little by little, piece by piece, until I'm complete.
Sidney Rhodes show. What a great night We are so thankful that you are here tonight. And wow, what an honor to have Dr. Jason McGhee. When it comes down to it, this road is not always easy, but you can't give up. Again, we thank Dr. Jason McGhee for a tremendous voyage. The story, well, I tell you, you got to go on demand and hear that story and share it with your loved ones and that next generation. These children, they need to hear that. They need to hear it. iTunes, On Demand, the Sidney Rhodes Show. Find the Jason McGhee interview, and you can also get with him. Bring him live. Bring him live. We'll have the link for his contact information on our page. We're honored that Dr. Jason McGhee shared with us tonight. We're here every night, 9 to midnight, live, 9 to midnight. You've got to reach out. If you want to go forward, you can't give up. You're on the right road, Sidney Rhodes Show. Much love. We'll see you tomorrow. Sidney Rhodes Show, Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Follow us at Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Sidney Rhodes Show. You're on the right road, Sidney Rhodes Show.